Every time I come out here, Vinny's doing a job and you're holding his hand.
Me and him split everything. We started yesterday.
Get your hands dirty for a change. Do some welding and grinding instead of watching everybody else do.
American Chopper built legends, but not all of them lived to see the legacy they helped create. For years, fans of American Chopper watched talented builders, fabricators, and personalities help transform Orange County Choppers into one of the biggest reality television phenomena of its era. But as the years passed and the cameras stopped rolling, some of the people who helped make the show unforgettable were lost far too soon. Which American Chopper cast members have passed away? And what really happened to the men whose work and personalities helped define the series? Join us as we uncover the American Chopper cast members who passed away. Michael Teutul, the Peacekeeper. Michael Teutul was never the loudest member of the Teutul family, but he became one of the most memorable faces on American Chopper. While arguments often erupted around him, Michael, better known to fans as Mikey, brought humor, warmth, and a sense of balance to the show. His jokes, playful attitude, and ability to lighten the mood made him a fan favorite from the very beginning. Behind the laughter, however, life at Orange County Choppers was not always easy. For years, Mikey found himself caught in the middle of the ongoing conflicts between his father, Paul Teutul Sr., and his brother, Paul Teutul Jr. As tensions inside the family grew, so did the pressure on him. Unlike the others, Mikey often played the role of peacemaker. He tried to keep relationships together while dealing with the stress that came from working in an environment filled with constant conflict. Over time, that pressure began to take a toll. Mikey later revealed that he struggled with alcohol addiction during this period of his life. What may have started as a way to cope with stress gradually became a serious personal battle. The cheerful personality viewers saw on television was hiding struggles that few fans fully understood. His situation became even more difficult as the demands of television production increased. Long hours, tight schedules, family disputes, and public attention created an exhausting environment. Eventually, Mikey reached a point where he knew something had to change. In 2012, he made one of the most important decisions of his life. Rather than remain in a situation that was affecting his well-being, Mikey stepped away from Orange County Choppers and largely left American Chopper behind. It was not just a career move. It was a personal decision focused on protecting his health and repairing strained family relationships, especially with his father. During this period, he also entered rehabilitation and began the process of treatment and recovery. For many fans, his departure marked the end of an era. Mikey had never been the lead bike builder, yet his presence gave the show something unique. The workshop still had talented builders and dramatic storylines, but one of its most relatable figures was gone. However, leaving the show did not mean disappearing from public life. Instead, Mikey began exploring creative projects that reflected who he was outside of reality television. He focused on art and opened a gallery where he could showcase his paintings and other original work. The move allowed him to express a side of himself that fans had rarely seen during his years on television. He also experimented with other forms of entertainment. Over the years, Mikey appeared in stand-up comedy performances and created content for his YouTube channel, producing everything from humorous videos to short documentary-style projects. More recently, he launched FarQ LLC, a business centered around homemade pasta sauce, turning another personal passion into a professional venture. He also hosts a podcast called Between the Lines, where he discusses life experiences, personal growth, and the lessons he has learned throughout his unusual journey. Although Mikey occasionally returned to help at Orange County Choppers, his life ultimately moved in a different direction. So, while Mikey stepped away to rebuild his life off camera, the shop still depended on the precision of the man who kept the machines moving forward. Vincent "Vinny" DiMartino. Vincent DiMartino was one of the most respected builders ever to appear on American Chopper. While viewers often focused on the family drama that unfolded on screen, many of the motorcycles that made Orange County choppers famous were brought to life by the skill and hard work of Vinny. Long before television cameras arrived, Vinny was already passionate about building and repairing machines. His friendship with Teutul Jr. stretched back to their high school years, and that connection eventually led him to Orange County Choppers. Once there, he quickly became one of the shop's most valuable builders. As American Chopper exploded in popularity, the pressure inside the shop changed dramatically. The series became one of the biggest reality shows on television. Millions of viewers tuned in to watch custom motorcycles take shape each week. What fans did not always see was the intense workload required to meet production schedules. For the builders, that meant long days, late nights, and constant pressure. Vinny was one of the people carrying much of that burden. He was expected to help turn ambitious ideas into finished motorcycles, while cameras documented every step of the process. As the years passed, the pressure began to wear on many members of the team. Unlike some cast members who thrived in the spotlight, Vinny preferred focusing on craftsmanship. Meanwhile, the growing tension, constant deadlines, and increasing demands of reality television created a very different environment from the one he had originally joined. Then came a major turning point. In 2007, after years of helping build some of the most famous motorcycles in custom bike history, Vinny made the difficult decision to leave Orange County Choppers. For fans, the departure was shocking. He had become one of the most recognizable builders on the show and was viewed as a key part of the team's success. Rather than remain in a situation that no longer matched his goals, Vinny decided to start his own business. Alongside fellow American chopper builder Cody Connelly, he launched V-Force Customs, and the move gave him something he had been seeking for years: independence. Starting over was not easy. Leaving one of the most successful motorcycle shops in the country meant walking away from a steady paycheck, national television exposure, and a well-known brand. There were no guarantees that his new venture would succeed. So, like many entrepreneurs, he faced uncertainty and risk. Still, he moved forward. Later, Vinny reunited with Paul Jr. and worked with him at Paul Jr. Designs, appearing on American Chopper, Sr. vs. Jr. And eventually, V-Force Customs closed its doors, but Vinny remained committed to the industry he loved. He continued working in the automotive and motorcycle world through DiMartino Motorsports, a business focused on repair and maintenance services for cars, trucks, and motorcycles. However, in that same shop, another builder soon faced a turning point that changed everything for him. Rick Petco, the builder. Rick Petco stood out on American Chopper for one simple reason: he was steady. While the shop around him often erupted into arguments and pressure-filled deadlines, Rick stayed locked in on the work. Fans respected him because his focus never drifted from what mattered most: building clean, solid motorcycles. From the early days at Orange County Choppers, Rick helped shape some of the show's most recognizable builds, working closely with the team during the rise of the series into a global television hit. Life in the shop, however, was never calm for long. While working on the Lance Armstrong tribute bike, Rick suffered a serious workshop injury when his hand was caught in a drill press during the build process. The accident left him unable to work for an extended period, forcing him to step away from the shop and focus on recovery before he could return to doing what he loved. For a fabricator who worked with his hands every day, the injury was more than a painful setback. It temporarily took away the very skill that had built his career. What followed was a long shift in priorities. Although he eventually returned to work at Orange County Choppers and remained connected to the brand for years, Rick's focus gradually moved away from television. By the mid-2010s, he had stepped back from the full-time spotlight and started building a life centered more on stability and family. The daily routine of working at Orange County Choppers involved long commutes and demanding hours. Rick lived far from the shop, and the travel time alone added strain to an already intense schedule. After getting married in 2012, his priorities shifted further toward home life and long-term balance. Eventually, he made another important move. Rick transitioned into working with Pocono Mountain Harley-Davidson in Pennsylvania, where he set up a custom build operation inside the dealership. The setup allowed him to continue doing what he loved while staying closer to home. It also gave customers direct access to custom fabrication work when purchasing motorcycles, turning ideas into real builds on site. However, even after stepping away from television as a primary platform, Rick never left the motorcycle world. He continues to attend shows, racing events, and industry gatherings, often working alongside family and longtime collaborators. Beyond dealership work, Rick also built a smaller independent operation known as RPD & Company, where he creates custom knives and wedding bands from his farmhouse workshop. The work reflects the same attention to detail he was known for on television, just on a smaller and more personal scale. Now, while these builders dealt with pressure, injuries, and setbacks, the man leading the entire operation was facing problems that went far beyond the shop floor. Paul Teutul Sr., the boss with fire. Paul Teutul Sr. was the center of American Chopper from the beginning. Loud, direct, and uncompromising, he built Orange County Choppers into a brand that turned custom motorcycle building into prime-time television. On screen, he was known for sharp words and strong opinions, but behind it all was a man determined to keep his shop alive in a fast-changing industry. At Orange County Choppers, Paul Sr. set the tone. He demanded discipline, speed, and results. The builds had to be clean, the deadlines had to be met, and there was little room for mistakes. That pressure created success, but it also created conflict, especially within his own family and team. As American Chopper became a global hit, fame brought money and attention, but it also brought tension that never fully went away. The most public conflict came from his strained relationship with Paul Teutul Jr. Their disagreements eventually split the company and led to separate shops, with Paul Sr. continuing under the Orange County Choppers name, while his son launched a competing brand. That split became one of the defining storylines of the entire series. That same period also brought legal disputes connected to his television projects and also reignited family tensions. The conflict between Paul Teutul Sr. and his son, Paul Teutul Jr., eventually moved beyond the cameras and into the courtroom. In 2009, Paul Sr. filed a lawsuit in New York seeking control over Orange County Choppers and attempting to enforce a buyout of his son's minority share in the company. He accused Paul Jr. of engaging in competing business activities and mismanaging aspects of the company, while also claiming he had a right to purchase his son's stake after their professional split. The legal battle escalated into a highly public dispute, with temporary court restrictions even limiting Paul Jr.'s access to OCC during proceedings. However, in 2010, an appellate court ruled in Paul Jr.'s favor, deciding that Paul Sr. could not force the buyout under the terms presented. While the television years kept the brand visible, the business side became more difficult over time. By 2018, Paul Sr. was facing serious financial pressure. Court filings showed that he had accumulated over $1 million in debt tied to multiple obligations, including mortgages and business liabilities. One of his properties in Montgomery, New York, was listed for sale after foreclosure concerns surfaced. Reports at the time indicated he still owed hundreds of thousands of dollars on the home after years of refinancing. In March 2018, he filed for bankruptcy protection. According to court documents, his monthly income from Orange County choppers was listed at around $15,000, though additional earnings from television work were not fully reflected in that figure. The filing was part of a broader restructuring of his financial situation as debts mounted across several areas. Despite these setbacks, Paul Sr. did not step away from the motorcycle world. He continued building under the Orange County Choppers name and kept the brand active through new projects and television appearances, including American Chopper, Senior vs. Junior, and later OCC-focused series. In 2021, the business expanded again with the launch of OCC Roadhouse and Museum in Florida, combining a restaurant, entertainment space, and motorcycle showroom. Even as OCC evolved into something new, the story of the man who helped define its legacy was far from over, especially for the son who once stood at the center of its creative force. Paul Teutul Jr., the son who walked away. Paul Teutul Jr. was one of the most important creative forces on American Chopper. Born on October 2, 1974, he is the son of Paul Teutul Sr. and grew up inside the world of motorcycles long before television cameras arrived. When the show began, he quickly became known as the lead designer at Orange County Choppers, responsible for shaping the look and identity of many of the custom bikes that defined the series. Unlike his father, who led with authority and intensity, Paul Jr. expressed himself through design. But working inside a family business came with pressure that went far beyond fabrication. The breaking point came in 2008. After years of escalating conflict with his father, Paul Jr. was fired from Orange County Choppers. The decision marked one of the most dramatic moments in the show's history and changed the direction of the entire series. For viewers, it felt like the end of an era. For Paul Jr., it was a forced separation from the place where his career had started. What followed was not an exit from the industry, but a reset. He launched Paul Jr. Designs, a new company that gave him full creative control over his work. For the first time, he was able to build without the restrictions and tension that had defined his time at OCC. The studio allowed him to expand beyond motorcycles and take on a wide range of design projects. Even after leaving Orange County Choppers, his connection to motorcycles never disappeared. In 2010, Paul Jr. returned to television alongside his father in American Chopper, Senior vs. Junior. The series documented their ongoing rivalry and attempts to rebuild communication through competition and custom bike builds. Outside of television, Paul Jr. built a more personal life away from the chaos of reality TV production. He married his longtime partner, Rachel Beester, and started a family. That shift brought a different focus to his life, moving attention away from conflict and toward stability and responsibility at home. Over time, Paul Jr. expanded his work further. Paul Jr. Designs continued to take on custom motorcycle projects, while also exploring electric bike concepts and modern design collaborations. One notable project in recent years was a partnership with Rough Cycles, which produced a distinctive electric bike design that reflected his signature style while adapting to new technology trends in the industry. Beyond building, he also stepped into writing and media. He published The Build, Designing My Life of Choppers, Family, and Faith, a book that reflects on his journey through the motorcycle world, family conflict, and personal growth. He also launched a podcast, using it as a platform to discuss design, business, and life experiences beyond television. In the history of American Chopper, he remains the quiet counterbalance to the noise. However, Not everyone lasted in the shop for the long run, and one of the youngest builders would soon step away from it all. Cody Connelly. Cody Connelly entered American Chopper at a young age and quickly became part of the core shop environment at Orange County Choppers. He was not brought in as a celebrity or a standout personality. He was a young builder learning the trade inside a fast-paced custom motorcycle shop where expectations were high and mistakes were not easily forgiven. From the beginning, Cody worked closely with Teutul Jr. and the fabrication team. His role was hands-on and practical, as he adapted to the strict rhythm of a shop that was suddenly operating under television pressure. While arguments often escalated between senior members of the team, he remained focused on the work in front of him. That approach earned him a reputation as someone dependable, even in a chaotic environment. As internal conflicts grew and the shop structure shifted, Cody eventually stepped away from the series around 2007. His exit marked the end of his full-time role at OCC during the original run of the show. His departure later became the subject of a legal dispute. In 2009, Cody filed a lawsuit against Orange County Choppers, claiming that he had been promised an ownership interest in a custom motorcycle that was later displayed at the shop without compensation. The case drew attention because it involved one of the show's younger builders. The dispute was eventually resolved, but it offered a rare glimpse into disagreements that extended beyond what viewers saw on television. However, after leaving, Cody continued to stay connected to the motorcycle world. He later worked alongside former OCC colleagues, including Vincent DiMartino, and had periods of collaboration with Teutul Jr. at Jr. Designs. Over time, Cody stepped further away from the television spotlight and shifted toward more traditional hands-on work. He moved into construction-related business operations in New York, focusing on excavation and site development work. His company, Revel Ranch Excavation, handles services such as land clearing, grading, drainage, septic systems, and general site preparation. Which American Chopper cast member's story surprised you the most? How much do you think being on the show changed their lives for better or worse? Share your thoughts with us in the comments section. Remember to like, share, and subscribe for more. Also, click the next video showing on your screen. You will enjoy it.